Good morning, this is Susan Casino. It's the office hour for Oregon State University PDC-PRO Summer 2023. This is call number 9, and the next lesson due is assignment 9 on November 13th. I'm just waiting for folks to show up, but I will give a little, starting a little overview. This is the building survey and zone 1 design, lesson 9. Okay. I'm going to do share screen with my Notion page for this, this lesson. Okay. Okay. So there's not a lot of new stuff here, stuff that really seems to trip folks up. A lot of it's kind of, a lot of it is building on what's come before. Let's see, I don't have any saved, nope, I don't have any saved issues from previous groups, which is good. Okay, so just take a look at the criteria in the rubric. So you're going to do your building survey, which is your usual, 4 points for that survey. Don't forget to embed your personalized images, and a good SWOT analysis has 3 to 5 points per section. And then the conclusion is a couple of sentences long. It's fine. You guys all have, I think pretty much everyone has that down pat now. Base map, that's just carrying it forward from earlier in the course. So then your map of zone 1, the water management plan. Oh, and here's Molly. Yeah, so we're just going to go through that rubric. When you're completing your assignment, just make sure you've taken a look at that and checked all those boxes. Okay, we're going to let our people in. Good morning, Molly.
Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Lynette.
Morning.
You folks
or evening, as it is for me.
Yeah, you are in a different space, aren't you? Okay. Do you guys do the time change as well?
Yeah.
You do, okay.
Although they keep talking about stopping it.
Yeah. I think everybody talks about stopping it at some point, and they just get around to it. Okay, I'm just navigating to the building survey. I'm going to do a share screen here. Good morning, Kim.
Morning.
You're in morning. I know you're in morning. There you go. Come on, little computer. There we go. Okay, how are you guys doing? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
No complaints.
That's good.
I'm not doing very well at all, actually.
Okay.
Sorry, that last one really threw me after I lost all that. I went to talk to IT. I completely lost it anyway. So number 8, I'm going to have to go back to. Number 9, I've been away for like nearly a week, so I'm starting it now. Anyway, so I was going to ask, what date do we have to do everything has to be in by the 10th, yeah?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And that's the last date for everything then, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Right, and have we got one more video meeting?
We do.
Well?
Yeah, we've got one more call on the 21st
of November.
Yes.
Okay. Right, so I really need to get my act together a bit then.
Well, don't be too hard on yourself. We've still got a month. I mean, we've still got a month, but if losing that
No,
one.
but I'm like a lesson, but I'm a bit of a lesson and a bit behind.
Mhm,
I think it'll be fine actually.
yeah. So you're technically this don't panic. Your final assignment is due on the 10th.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, not the 10th, the 4th. Um,
The fourth.
so yeah, so the lesson 10 assignment is due the 4th, but there's no penalty for submitting it late. It has to be in by the 10th.
Right. Okay, so
Um,
it's due the fourth. It's just
yeah.
I found as they've gone along, like number 9 is actually quite a big bit of
Yeah.
work, isn't it?
Uh,
Is it? Not the building survey bit, but the next bit.
the next one, so lesson 10. The zone 1, yeah, the zone 1
Yeah,
design. Yeah, it's involved. It's
it's involved.
it's your zone 1 design.
Yeah, I think my trouble is my it's so big. So I think I'm just going to concentrate on one bit. I'm going to concentrate on like I've got the wooded area bit,
Yeah.
which is basically where all the kids play, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to concentrate on that bit.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where it's really going to benefit you to really narrow it down to a single zone. And a site
Yeah,
like yours, you could very easily argue you've got multiple zone 1s kind of dispersed across the property, across the site.
yeah.
Just pick one, narrow it down, and get that really dialed in, and then you can always come back after the course.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing that to be honest a lot because I think I need loads more feedback from everybody at school. Yeah, it's going to be an ongoing thing, and
Yeah,
I've got a lot of different projects I think that are going to have to evolve over a number of years.
yeah,
To be
okay.
honest.
I've also been playing with some different ways of kind of keeping me online after the course finishes if anybody wants. And because I've had a lot of people ask, I haven't had anyone actually take me up on it. So I'm really willing to like be flexible and like craft
Oh,
some
okay.
offers that actually work for people, because I've offered like one-off consults. And lots of people are like, oh, that would be great, blah blah blah, and then I never hear from anyone, which is fine. Like my feelings aren't hurt or anything. I'm just trying to find what actually works for people to support them. So I'm
Right.
going to reach out to some past students and kind of put it out there, like, hey, 6 months, a year after
Yeah.
graduation, you're completing, like, just kind of a check-in, where are you? There's also kind of an option. There's also an option to do kind of a membership model where it's just like a little monthly fee, and I'm totally open to feedback of like what the cost ceiling would be that would be
Yeah.
accessible. Because a lot of it is work now that I'm carrying forward from previous courses, and then it's easy for me to add in either like an additional office hour, or like what we call it, like you call it a day of Voxer if you use the Voxer app, but like either using WhatsApp or Signal or something, just to like check in. So if you're walking around your site, you can just send a message, and I can bounce some feedback to you right away, rather than waiting for an office hour or you having to like
Okay.
do Zoom. So yeah, I'm really kind of just playing with different things to see what's going to work for students. So if you've got an idea of what would work for you, I'm happy to
Okay.
work with that. So because I
Yeah.
want to make sure these actually get out into the real world and don't just sort of become a thing that like stays in your Google Drive, or
Yeah.
hung up on. So
No, I think I'm doing all right. I've already got this year. I've got they give me the funding to do all the fences. I've got loads of fences, and so
great.
we're going to start getting loads of climbers and get them all growing up all the fences. So
Hmm.
yeah, they're quite yeah. Some people are quite keen.
Good.
Yeah.
Certainly want to hear. Okay. Well, I'm just the zones. Um, yeah, so some of these are going to be images that you can grab from your site, like they don't have to be detailed design
Mm.
aspects. Um, some of it you can carry forward. Let me see.
Yeah. So some of it's like a copy and paste of the maps, isn't it?
Yeah, Yeah, like your base, that's the reason we spend so much time getting the base map dialed in early on,
Yeah.
because now you get to pull it forward and you can reuse it.
Yeah.
And it's the same for the concept map assignment for lesson 10.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is stuff that you're pulling forward, so you still need to integrate it. So it's still quite a bit of work, and it's a big section, but a lot of pieces that you're pulling forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just got a bit overwhelmed when I looked at it.
Yeah, just pick through it.
Panicked. Yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna crack on with it tomorrow, I think. See how far I get.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I never want to say like, oh, but this should be pretty straightforward, because if it's not, it's not, and that's fine. But I'm definitely here to support if you've got, if you get stuck on anything, like don't let yourself get stuck, and at this point kind of keep moving. Some of this is images that you can bring in. So either element images, could be like, some of them could be like inspirational stock photos.
Oh, okay. So that's what the element bit is. I know I was going to ask you actually, because it mentions in this one and also the one before, it mentions quite a bit about patterns. But when it says patterns, it says things like blocking solar wind, or whereas I thought that's not what I don't quite understand what it means by patterns. Like I thought it was a different thing in permaculture.
Can you
hang on?
I'm trying to, can you
It's on this one, but it's also on the one before as well.
Okay, you're looking at yours.
Because it says like strategies, it'll say something, goals, I said goals, patterns, strategies.
Okay.
It might be page like 129 on your sheet. I'm trying to match up with mine. I know what you're talking about, Lynette. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Because I thought patterns in permaculture was more like, like patterns in nature, like spirals and stuff like that. So what does that exactly mean when it says patterns?
So, yeah, I can see why it's a little confusing, because they're using the term pattern and then kind of more talking about like specific practices.
So it's more like techniques then.
Yeah, it's kind of like breaking. So thinking about patterns in terms of like, where you're going to slow, like, where you're going to slow people down, like sort of like an eddy pattern. So then that's where they're referring to like something like outdoor seating, lounging, dining areas. If you need to redirect wind, then you're going to be putting up something like a windbreak. So that
okay. So it is patterns then. Yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, so it's kind of like, I mean, they don't specify the patterns. Like in this example, they don't specify the patterns that they're changing or being informed by. They're showing the actual the practices that they're going to use.
Okay, so it's like practices in relation to kind of like energy patterns, or okay.
Yeah.
Like wind then, or sun, or water.
Yeah, and this is where you're probably going to be referring back to your sector map too, to look at where, like, what the strongest wind pattern is, what the major solar pattern is, or movement of people. Those are kind of some of the big ones.
Oh, okay. Oh, I understand. Right then.
Yeah, when this is so condensed, sometimes I can see why that's a bit confusing, but that's what I would look for.
Okay. No, that's a bit, that's clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Kim, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm like working forwards, and then I go back and I jump a little bit here and there. I'm trying to get work done while I have an open time. I was wondering about poppies, if you think that is a good cover crop, if that is possible.
Oh, California poppy, yeah, they're wonderful.
yeah, as a cover crop to increase.
Yeah, they don't, they're good, I mean, they're good for they're good for pollinators. They don't do much in terms of forage, which, I mean, we use them more for like beautification and pollinator than for like for our animal forage, but that's not going to be an issue for you. But yeah, they're beautiful, and once they get established, they spread really easily and they really fill in an area. There's a lot of different varieties, like you can get like more of a horticultural variety. You can pick up like kind of wild type poppies. It might take a little bit of playing to see what does well on your site and what you like. Like the ones that we ended up with, they've got a lot of vegetation and kind of in relative to the amount of flowers that they have. And we'd rather it be the other way around. So we're trying to select for plants now that have more flowers and vegetation, because given that we use so much gray water, it's almost too moist for them, and so we wind up with a lot of powdery mildew, and then they kind of go gray and then they go black, and then it just looks like really stringy vegetation. So yeah, finding varieties that you like might take a little bit, but I think the California poppies are wonderful to use as a some type of a cover, like a ground cover space. So.
Yeah, because I cleared the land like maybe a month ago now, and I can see the mustards coming back up again. And I'm like wondering if I should just like nip it in the bud and just put like, a lot of poppy seeds out there and just cover the whole thing so the mustard flowers can't come through, or just wait till like, I have more. I don't know. I just got a little bit excited thinking about seeing poppies out there next spring.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. You'll probably still have mustard coming through, but over time you'll start to fill that, like can overgrow it, fill it in. So
Would it be hard to get rid of though when I start with my actual plant? Are they like just there forever?
Oh, no, they come out pretty easily.
Okay.
They've kind of almost got like a carrot taproot.
Okay.
So yeah, they come out of the ground pretty easily, and when you pull the plant up, you've got a huge plant root. It's not like a big web of roots or anything. So they're not. I guess a downside would be that they're not hugely effective in like erosion control because they don't have much of a root system, but they do also dig deep, so they tend to stay in place. And because they've got so much foliage, if you've got that already developed when it starts raining, that'll at least break the rainfall and cover the soil up. So, and yeah, they're low growing. There's not any outstanding negatives that I've seen with them. So
yeah. But where do I buy what did it say? 10 pounds of seed for an acre? Where do I get 10 pounds of poppy seeds?
Oh, good luck. Wow.
I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna take you up on this consultation thing. And
well, what we've done with you can buy varieties in little packets, which isn't going to do a whole acre.
No.
I think you'd wind up using a lot of seed that wouldn't actually come to much if you're doing a whole acre. So I would focus on a few spots where you can like collect some water. Because it's supposed to start raining tomorrow or Thursday. So if you get those into a spot where you've got a little bit of soil built up, you can catch a little bit of water there, get those plants established, and then they'll start reseeding themselves rather than blanketing the whole place in seed, because you get washed down into areas that it would germinate anyway. And then you're going to have like a 1/4 acre seed in a small space. So yeah.
That's good. That's good advice.
Hopefully. Yeah, we're all going to I think we're going to see what happens with this when it's coming in. I mean, so far, I think the prediction is for a 1/2 inch. So depends how that comes in.
Are your tanks, do you check on that? Your tanks at home, your water tanks, you're ready?
Yeah, we've been really conservative with our rainwater, like the rainwater that we have stored. And I kind of wish, we both kind of wish we hadn't been quite so conservative, because now we've got 2,000, probably got between 2,000 and 2,500, more like 2,300 gallons of rainwater stored, and it's about to start raining again.
Mm.
So we're trying to get that out onto the soil early enough that it can get some plants growing, get the tank emptied, and get fresh water into the tank. So yeah, it's always this balance. So we're rushing around, like getting
Yeah.
mulch, cover crops down, and seeds in the ground, and ducks managed, and rabbits covered, and yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The pre-rain season is always kind of a movement.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, you're welcome to come check it out, and if you
That sounds fun. It's like not the way I live at all. I never check the weather or anything, you
oh
know.
yeah, it's it'll be interesting. It's supposed to be another wet winter, and it'll be interesting to see how that pattern plays out, because it's what we've heard is that it's going to be a lot heavier, like January through March,
Hmm.
which is going to be great, because if we can get some good growth happening now, the
Mhm.
roots are really what help the water travel down into the soil profile.
Mm.
So if we can get some roots going now, get
Mhm.
most of our animals off the landscape. So we're harvesting ducks, hopefully the fall, not this weekend, but the following weekend. Then we can just let everything like regrow for a month or two before the really heavy rain sets in. So
Wow.
it's all, it's all speculation, right? But you have to just plan for what you hope to get. So,
That's fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's a game for sure. So yeah. How about you, Molly? Got anything to throw at us?
I'm gonna go through and see if I had anything. Nothing really jumped out to me. I haven't really taken a big stab at it yet, but so I think I'm okay for now.
All right. Yeah, scroll through. Yeah. Okay. I didn't get any questions in the spreadsheet that I looked at. Maybe that's a quick. I'd like to do a check-in with you guys while you're here, because nobody ever answers my emails if I ask for replies. Would you submit questions ahead of time? If you did, is there a way that you would like to do so? And I realize this is n minus or n equals 3, so a very small subset, but
Mhm. I don't think, for me, I don't really have like specific questions. It's more like it's nice to be walked through the assignment, but I don't really, haven't had the need to ask a question like that. I don't know.
yeah, okay. That's been my experience. I'm just curious if it's the way I'm asking, or just that people don't tend to get their questions loaded up ahead of time. Lynette, what about you?
No, if I've had questions, usually I've written them down and then rest them when like would I pre-submit them? I don't. No, probably not.
Yeah.
Would it help you if people did though?
There's a number of, I shouldn't say a lot, a number of the other instructors do it, and I thought it would help me. The reality is that I'm usually so busy not right up until the call, but I like at a minimum, I try to sit down by half an hour before the call starts, get a little bit loaded up and everything. And if there's questions coming in at like 9:45, or like, say 45 minutes before the call, I don't usually have time to like go through them in detail. And I find that if people are asking questions far enough ahead, that I actually have time to sit down and go through them and get some resources in detail. By the time they get to the call, they've answered it for themselves.
Right.
Or they've like they needed to move forward in their assignment, so they emailed me, and then we answered it in the email. So that's what I'm finding. I think I'm kind of do away with even the attempt and the effort to get questions submitted ahead of time, because I'm also getting a fairly good bank of questions that previous students have asked.
Mm.
I keep track of like which ones are general and which ones are like pretty specific to a, you know, like to a context, say like urban or like very dry Southern California, you know, or like abroad, like Portugal, Spain. So I think what I'm gonna maybe start doing is sharing more of those questions ahead of time, ahead of the assignment, so people can have a gander at what questions have already been asked, because there are a few that like that tend to recur.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
would
would
be
be a good
nice.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's probably better, and it's probably less work for you because then it's otherwise you're researching loads of stuff that then maybe people don't need when they get to the call.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get a lot of people asking you stuff then that don't come on the call?
It's about the same. There's probably 3 or 4 people that semi-regularly email me questions by email and they don't make the call. Either
Okay.
working or it's just not, yeah. They get the
Mhm.
questions answered off the call and they don't want to do a Zoom, that's fine.
Okay.
It's a mix. Mhm. But I like having like resources available. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it so that you guys don't have like, oh, a whole other set of links that you go to refer to.
Mm.
I tend to keep them in the discussions, but then once you're finished the course, I think you have access to the discussions. I know you've got access to all the material.
And how long do we have access to the material for?
Um,
Forever.
this question, this is another question that keeps getting asked, and it was a forever. And then it's been 2 years, and I can't, let me see. I want to see if I can find a,
Some of it's quite useful, some of the videos.
access to, oh, no, access to OSU library. No. The reason I'm looking for this right now is because the answer did change. So, oh, access to course PDC. This is a year ago. So they will have access for 2 years, and then when the course closes, we can give them further access upon request. So if your 2 years is up, then you could extend that.
Oh, right.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, really, I'm in a lot of courses that are like, oh, you've got lifetime access. The reality is that, I mean, you often just don't go back to it. So I think, you know, that a lot of the videos you can bookmark in YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So.
Because it's some of the videos are really good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did any of you guys make it to the professional development webinar or get to watch the replay?
I haven't been.
I couldn't make it. I was
Okay.
busy, but I've not watched it. Has anybody watched it yet?
And Mark, the one that you're doing on this December, you're doing one, right?
Yeah, I just got an email yesterday from Dow. Okay. Okay, so the one in December, yeah, so December 7th, 4 to 6 p.m. They had so many, she's just emailed us back. Looking to see, it looks like some of the people that did put their hand up are happy to move it to January, February, or later. So I may be on that one, I may be not. I didn't make there was like a first round of people that were signed up for that webinar on the December 7th. Andrews took up the full 2 hours and really didn't get to the more recent history. So they're looking for just 2 or 3 people. So I may be on that one, I may not be. It depends I was kind of on the wait list for the December one. but there will be another one on December 7th. I just reviewed the transcript of the one that Andrew did on his own. I think it's worth, it's worth checking out. It's also from about 20 years ago. I think his first PDC was 1996. So it was kind of it was a different time, kind of different context. I think it's inspiring. I don't know that people could really roll out the way he did, like without a contractor's license and like without, kind of like working under the radar for a lot of friends. The way he started, but I think it's worth reviewing. Would it be helpful if I shared a summary, like a timestamp summary with the transcript?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. And how do I get to it? How do I find it?
They should have sent a replay out. Yeah, webinar recording. Okay, so they're going to be updating it or putting it into the resources module. There's also a link. Let me see if I checked. Let's see. No. Okay, I'm sending, this is a copy of the message, and then I'm going to send you the links. I've got them here, but it will be in the resources. Okay, so here's the link direct to the recording in the chat.
Awesome.
I think if you're short for time, leave it until you're done the assignment. Like make the assignment the priority first. Okay. Okay, well that's, let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that would be helpful to you guys. Okay. Principles. Are you guys, do you feel confident finding where the permaculture principles were in the course?
Oh, is this for the last bit?
Yeah.
Can I just ask actually about the last slide on the Zone 1 design bit? And it's got about like it's about like composting and no, the one
This
before
one?
that
No.
one, yeah. Is that it? No, not that one.
That doesn't look like it.
Local networks.
Oh, that's local
No,
note.
that's no. The
Here.
bit that's it. Energy systems and conservation strategies.
Yeah, so that'll be anything like solar, if you're
Right.
in, certain types of lighting,
Water capture? Or is that's already dealt with on the water management bit though, isn't it?
water capture would go under the water management.
So that would be like solar and what? But is that for the whole thing or just for the Zone 1 bit?
Just for your zone 1. Yeah, because the focus of this one is really your zone 1 and your buildings. So
Right.
we're, improving insulation.
Oh, okay. So it would be like
Yeah, window glazing, lights, passive cooling, like maybe some shade, even if like shade structures are going into place specifically for the sake of like cooling a building and like reducing air conditioning. That would be an example.
so even though, so say my Zone 1, I'm concentrating on like a wooded area bit. So then this would apply to any of the buildings in Zone 1 then, like any kind of solar. Okay.
Yeah, if you're typically, I mean, zone 1 is going to, especially, yeah, I think, yeah, especially with the school, if you can pick a location that does have a building involved, because that's where people are every single day. Right, so they're using
Yeah,
that.
I've got a lot of buildings in Zone 1, but in the bit that I was going to do, there's no, it's all wood, it's all trees. Okay, well don't worry, I'll just pick another bit of the Zone 1.
Yeah, pick something
Okay.
that you can more easily access some of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a single building that's kind of a main entry point for students coming in at the beginning of the day, or like for staff?
No, not no. There's like either primary buildings or secondary buildings. There's like a little security hut as they come into the entrance. Hang on a minute. But yeah, don't worry. I'll have a look at it actually, because there's a building that I was going to probably do a bit of water capture of, that then will then feed onto the wooded area. So maybe I'll include that.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog's super noisy.
Is that your chair moving?
Sorry?
Oh, okay. It's funny. It sounds from here. It sounds like an elephant.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're good. Oh, Lynette disappeared for a minute, but.
So you said that you had the previous questions from past students.
Mhm.
Where do you have like a shared document with that already? Or is that like in your Voxer? I can't remember.
That's in the, no, that's where I leave the comment. Let me see, it's in the office hours. I try to drop it everywhere, but then there's a link to Notion. And that's where you can get to let's see this. Yeah, that's where you should be able to access those. They're not well organized. That's the only things I'm still working on, like kind of grouping things. And actually for lesson 9, I don't have any questions saved, so it's a poor example. But if you go into the office hours general Q&A,
Yeah.
any one of these intros to like the Zoom recording and summary, there's this, you can view all of the video recordings, call summaries, and Q&A for the office hours. Should work. It has worked. So can you see this, the Notion page? Let me see.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Cool. I sometimes finding the different things like that is a little confusing on Canvas. I think, yeah, but thank you.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that best, like to support my students, given that you also have so much information incoming through Canvas. And so I don't want it to just, I don't want my like, oh, here's some questions from previous students to distract from like the actual assignment material, because sometimes it just gets to be too many links and you're like, ah, you know, like it's just too much. I'm not sure why this isn't showing up the way I want it to. Okay, so this should be what you navigate to.
Okay.
And then each one of these is like goes to the individual lesson. So it's kind of just messy right now and I'm working on it. So I've got the rubric in every single one. So you can always see that. And then some of this is just like copy pasted stuff that I dropped for students. Like I needed to keep track of it. It was all, there's also more in the Google Doc that I shared, and that goes back to previous students, but it was a lot of the same, like I didn't get a lot of questions on the calls ahead of time. And then, you know, so then you just kind of go off the summary and the transcript, and I wasn't using an AI transcriber at that point. So the summaries aren't quite as clean. So I've got some work to do this winter to like really kind of pull this together, but this is where I'm getting it all so like so that it all lives here.
Okay.
And then if the kind of membership model things make sense, then I would provide like kind of like a personal portal where you can access that kind of stuff, and videos and things like that. So yeah, it's just it's putting it together in a way that's accessible, because Notion, I don't totally like, I'm not crazy about how some of their public sharing works. And I just haven't gotten all the kinks worked out of that. So I don't want to have a bunch of broken links out on the internet. I'd rather have like, hey, just go to this like this one link and you can find everything there. Go to this like this one Google folder and it's all there, that kind of thing. So
Cool.
mhm.
That's lovely. Thank you.
You can always shoot an email. Just ask like, where do I find this thing? I'm like, okay, here.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah. And I honestly, like, my favorite way to interact with people, like if I'm doing like one-on-one consulting stuff, if I'm doing kind of like this, if I'm outside of a set office hour, some kind of messaging app. Like I really like Signal and Telegram because they don't require, like they don't connect to Facebook, and it's all encrypted, so people can share like confidential information about their site with me, which, you know, when we get into like financial planning for stuff, it's important.
Yeah.
I haven't been super crazy about Voxer, but I know people use it. It's kind of like more like a walkie-talkie, like recording audio app, and it works well for that. So yeah, so I'm always open to suggestions to what people think would work, and we can play with something for you know, a few months, and if it doesn't work, then we'll change it up. And so
Sounds good. Hey, Lynette, I heard about a Japanese composting system that you can compost meat and citrus. You don't have to be careful about that stuff. And I thought that would probably work for a school where you don't have to like sort everything out. I don't know what kind of food.
Oh, okay.
the bokashi.
Maybe, I don't remember the name.
Oh, okay.
Does that, was that
You
the,
bury it a bit, don't you? I think with
Oh.
bokashi, do you?
I don't know.
I wouldn't put in like a large amount of meat, or do it. I would definitely keep some variety going through there.
Mhm.
I've had mixed
Wow.
success with it. I know some people have had really, really good success where you just like, once you've got that population really going, it just keeps cycling.
It sounded easier than chopping all the food up. all
Yeah,
the
but
food.
the thing is, we chop. It's the raw. It's like the vegetable peelings that we chop, but then
Okay.
apart from, and that's going all right with the vermicomposting. Although I
Mhm.
think I might look at those windrows. Might be easier. So I've
Mhm.
been chopping today, but it's the food waste is about 75 kilos a day.
Wow.
But I spoke with the bloke about the food composter, and it does sound it sounds quite good, actually, to be honest. It is quite expensive, but anyway, so I think they're going to talk to them about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because I think 75 kilos a day it's a lot of waste to, you know, it's like a person and a half, isn't it, to get rid of a day.
Yeah.
It's 3 small children.
We have
Anyway.
solved the population problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, thanks for thinking of me though, Kim. That's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Can you share links to some of the composting stuff that you're finding, Lynette?
Yeah, the machine thing is called Ocklin. But it was really, the bloke I spoke to was really good, and he said like theirs is kind of like the top of the range one. So he says there's loads of other machines, although he probably would say that if he's trying to sell it to me. But he said there's loads of others that kind of look all right, but then they end up going wrong. Whereas this one, they have like a servicing contract, and it's got microbes in it. So it's the microbes that compost everything.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. They're really expensive. The one we were going to get is like 26,000.
Ooh.
Exactly. It's a lot of money, but they said they've got one that we can try out. And then if we like it, because it's like an showroom model, because they wanted to upgrade to another one, they said that maybe they might be able to do a deal.
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money, but I don't know. But it's a lot of waste as well.
Yeah.
Have you calculated how much soil you will get from it and how you can use that? And
I think he said if you do it like over a week, so if you put 75 kilos in a day, then by the end of the week you'll end up with 75 kilos. But also he said you can't put it, well, you have to mix it with 1 part whatever this stuff is to 5 parts soil, or you can leave it in the air for if you leave it outside for another 6 weeks, you can do 1 to 3.
Mm.
Because it's not really it's not compost. It's a bit of it's more partially
Mhm.
degraded food.
Hmm.
Do you have a use for that? Will you be
Yeah, I
able?
think so. I mean, we've got a big enough site, I think, to spread it around a bit.
Mm. Are you currently buying soil for the school?
No, we don't buy any soil at all.
No.
And
So
we
you're gonna have,
unfortunately,
like, weekly.
and all our green stuff gets sent to a composting centre, like a municipal site. I don't think we don't really have the manpower to compost everything on site, and a lot of it is pine needles, and I'm not sure you can compost
Mm-hmm.
a huge
Yeah,
amount of those.
they take a little bit, they take longer to break down.
Yeah.
They work really well as a carbon source if they're like, if they've dried out, like if it's basically a pine straw.
Okay.
They're fresh, it just takes longer.
But do you have to have a certain proportion? Like, can you only put a certain amount? I thought they were quite sort of acidic, and you can only put a certain amount.
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
compost.
they're acidic and they've got strong oils in them. So I'd probably keep it to 10 to 20%.
Yeah, I think we
Is
have a lot more than that. I think because we have a lot of pine trees, so we have a lot of pine needles are a big issue, I think.
Are they but are they fresh or dry?
No, they're dry.
Yeah, so then you could actually use them like a carbon source. So then you could do more like 50 to probably like 70%.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of that oil not evaporates, but disperses when they dry.
Mhm.
So like, if you crumble dry pine needles, they don't smell, they're not as aromatic as fresh ones. So
Well, that's
might have to
interesting.
play with it, but yeah, you could definitely use a lot more if you're taking them up off the ground. I know people use them for animal bedding.
Mm,
It's pine straw. They call it pine straw.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Use
Mm.
what you got.
Yeah, I know. It seems better rather than sending it off site.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's a where to do it, and B,
Yeah.
how to get the people to do it. That's the other thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll say bit by bit, see how it goes.
Cool. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions,
Mhm.
we're good. We're good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kim's gonna go throw some poppy seed out there before the rain starts.
Yeah. Let's bring
Yeah.
that. We run over it.
I was gonna say another one that does well is the coreopsis, but they don't. Yeah, they kind of rot out. They don't hold a lot of soil. They spread well if you can get a good bank of them growing, but they can be hard to get established. So
Mhm.
play with it. They look pretty and they're native. So
Mhm.
yeah. So.
Is there anything, because they do this weed abatement and I have to cut the weeds, is there anything I can plant that I don't have to cut?
I don't know. You'd have to check with their specific regulations. I'd hate to say yes and find out that actually no, they just want everything. But I would guess that native vegetation would be your.
Yeah, that I can say that I'm planting it for.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah. Anything perennial, because weeds are typically going to be annual grasses, the mustards is an annual.
Well, they say fire hazard is what they always come back with. It's a fire hazard. They don't really like, yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. Okay, guys, have a good week.
yeah,
And
you
Thank you.
questions if you got my email.
too. Okay.
All right then.
Sounds good. Thank you. See you guys.
Thank
See you next
you.
time.
See you all later.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.